Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome to part 2 of the Eternal DM. I came up with a quick list, and I'm going to do a follow-up to this, built upon suggestions from you guys out there, because I've come up with a couple of remedies. At least they've worked for me in the past. These are the things I usually do whenever I'm feeling the weight of the mantle of Dungeon Master way heavy on me, which is pretty infrequently. But there's some folks out there I know that have been doing this just as long as I have. A few folks have been doing it a little longer than I have. And I'm going to go over the list of things you might try. And if you know someone out there who's also struggling with, being your regular DM, and you can tell they're needing a little help, please go out and share this video. I want to see how many people we can help with this list and with the follow-up suggestions from you guys out there. The first one, the obvious remedy, if you're just feeling kind of burnt out, and I wanted to avoid using the term burnout because that actually leads to hanging it up, and we don't want that. We want people out there to game well and game as often as they can. So the first one is take a break. Maybe just a week off to go back over the game they're running and find that spark, which we'll talk about also in a minute. But mostly just recharge your batteries and remember why you play the game, and maybe go back and watch a couple of those old videos. But the first obvious one is just chill, take a break from dungeon mastering, and then if that doesn't work, or maybe while you're doing that, number 2 would be to read or watch or listen to your favorite story, whether it's a movie, a book, audio book, a comic book, a novel, one of the greats that got you inspired. Read one of those, watch one of those, maybe watch a bunch of those, and I know a lot of my friends are big Conan fans, and a lot of my friends would listen to the Conan soundtrack to get pumped before the game. Maybe even bring some music back into the mix. The third one is play a new game, something you're excited in. Maybe just take a break from the game that you're running and run something else that you're really excited to play. Maybe go, okay, this is just gonna be a one shot, or we're just gonna play it for this month so I can recharge my batteries, get back into it, and actually miss playing the game that you were playing. Hopefully, the new game won't replace the old game, but sometimes that's what you need. You can always go back to a good game. Always. I can't tell you how many times I've taken a break from one game, played a new game, and the player's like, when are we going to get back to the old game? As soon as you hear that, it's time to get back to the old game. The third one kind of ties into the second one, is actually play a game. Hand over the DM screen or what have you, or find a way to get invited to a new game, something so that you can be the player, so you can kind of remember what it was like to be a player and not the eternal DM. And I found that in playing as a player, I did this for the last 2 years, well, not the last 2 years, but the 2 years prior to this last one, where I played in scores of different games with different players, but I was not the GM, and it'd been the first time I'd done that almost in my entire life as a eternal DM, and I learned so many things by being a player from the perspective of the players, the things that they want, the things that I would want as a player, and in doing so, I think I became a little bit better, a little more willing to see things from the player's point of view, and believe it or not, it really, for me, helped out a lot. So that's number 3. Actually, that's number 4. Sorry about that. Number 5, and I have a bonus one in here for you, but it's a shameless plug, as I'm sure you can imagine what it's for. Go back to the beginning. Go back and remember and find what it was that got you into the game in the first place. What was the thing that attracted you to this crazy little hobby of ours? Was it, the adventure, the camaraderie, the genre, regardless of what genre it might be, science fiction or fantasy, horror, that sort of thing, and maybe go pull out the original books that you used. Maybe if it was White Box or Beck Me or something like that, pull that out and go and read those books again and see what it was. Maybe capture some of that spirit that brought you into the hobby, and see what it was that you really loved about this hobby, and then try to chase that particular dragon down and club him over the head until he coughs up his loot. That loot being the inspiration and the enthusiasm that you probably feel you're missing from this game. Maybe it'll involve reaching out to old friends who you've not played with before or played with in a long time. Maybe get them back to the table. Maybe having the old gang back together will do it. But there's so many things this hobby has to offer, and so many different facets of it that could have been your particular enjoying. The thing that you enjoyed the most about it. Maybe you're missing that from your game. Maybe there are things that you're no longer doing or that your players no longer do. Try and find those things, bring them back into the mix, and see if that doesn't help. Now, for you D&D fantasy type players out there, my bonus remedy is my secret weapon. It's always been my secret weapon. To this day, I still use it and blow my players' minds with the crazy originality that is Arduin. The original 3 Arduin Grimoire books are available. Let me grab it, because I'm using this right now in my AD&D game. It's the Arduin Trilogy in hardback, available from Emperor's Choice. You can also find PDFs and things like that on the high seas, or if you're not ready to bite the bullet and pay for something like this, because it's like $50-$60, I forget, but it's chock full of new monsters, magic items, treasures. All of this was initially designed to go with White Box, and thus easily integratable in your AD&D games, your Beck Me games, what have you. But it's not just monsters and treasure and spells and things like that. David A. Hargrave had a unique mind that was full of insights and ideas and rules that you'd be surprised that were borrowed and incorporated into countless games since then. And for me, I can always pull something out of here that will throw my players, for a loop. Will drive them crazy trying to figure out what this new beastie is. There's descriptions of everything so that you can tell the players what they see, and then they go just stark raving bonkers trying to figure it out. It's not in that book. It's not in the monster manual. It's not in the DM guide. What is this crazy thing? And there's a ton of great stuff in here. Ask my players, and they'll tell you that just the last game we played, they had a hell of a time. 23, 24 player characters and NPCs, and I almost took them all out with 6 little monsters. So if you're looking for something new, maybe take a look at it. If not, maybe try one of the other suggestions. And if you've got some suggestions out there, folks, some things that help you get through that period where you're just like, I'm not feeling it, let us know, and I will put them in the next video, which will be next week. I want to give you guys some time to mull it over and give me your suggestions. And if you haven't watched the first video in the series, please do, and please share this one out to everybody, because I want to see how many people we can get back into the spirit of playing D&D before the new year. So that's what I got for you today. I will be doing another book review tomorrow, an oldie but a goodie, and by goodie I mean The name alone often strikes terror into the hearts and minds of your old school gamer, and let's see if we can't terrify some newbies as well. So until next time, folks, have a great day. We love you guys out there, and I will see you real soon. Happy trails. Almost forgot. Wow, getting old.